We move to the head that is still on the shoulders, but barely, Jerry Brown.
Yeah, you talk about a stump.
Nobody else will call him on this, so we will. He's absolutely out of his mind. He actually wants to raise spending by 7%, and it's still tough economic times. Every time I take a look at the controller, John Chung's reports, we're running behind the budget in terms of revenue collections. And he wants to go ahead with high-speed rail, a boondoggle that could cost us close to $200 billion if we don't stop him.
He cannot possibly go around selling this budget as drastic cuts if spending is up 7%. I mean, that cannot stand.
Now, he's apparently got advisors that told him, all right, last year you made the grim speech and we got to be tough and tighten our belts, and you laid low. I think this year the strategy is going to be make your speech for tax increases and for high-speed rail, and then go to Southern California and just blanket the place. All the media will follow you around as the wise old man looking optimistically ahead to the future. That's what he did yesterday, and he got mostly good media coverage from the predictable times. And
they bank that the TV reporters, many of whom are too dumb to live, are not going to challenge him on specifics. Most of the reporters don't know the specifics. They're going to count on all the lapdogs at the LA Times and the Sacramento Bee to do the cheerleading for more tax money, more spending, more high-speed rail. There isn't any other radio show in the state that covers this stuff. So the only people they have to contend with in the media is us. Right. Everyone else is just a willing participant in the charade or is easily snowed because they're ignorant.
When we come back, we'll go through this. And, of course, he says he's already raised over $1 million to raise your taxes, claiming that some of it is coming from business interests who support his plan. We'll talk about that.
John and Ken Show, KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
The headlines are everywhere. The story is here.
KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
John and Ken Show, John Cobalt and Ken Shampoo.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Jerry Brown's brain. Now, Jerry Brown, after making his State of the State address, where his pitch is basically, I'm going to spend more, I want to raise your taxes, and I want this high-speed rail. Three things that defy any sort of logic. He then made a tour here in Southern California. He went to the conservative Republican hotspots to sell his plan, like Orange County and Irvine, and down to San Diego, and he was bold. You know what? There's a quote from Lucetta Dunn, president of the Orange County Business Council. You know how she looks at the sales tax increase he's proposing, John? It's not as much as when Schwarzenegger was governor, and then we let it expire last year, so this isn't so bad. Is this really helping?
Well, that's a great selling point.
It's less money than what we were just left with in 2010. Remember, the taxes expired last July 1st.
It's like somebody broke it.
Thanks to the efforts of many of our listeners to really beat this back and not let these Republicans take off their clothes and extend the taxes. So this lady's looking at it like, well, he doesn't want the sales tax won't be as high as it was, back before June 30th of 2010. That's not so bad. What's the matter with
it's like
people?
a guy who breaks into your house, right? Steals your wallet. You had $100 bucks
steals
in it.
half your stuff the next time.
Right. The next thief, he steals your wallet. You only had $50 in it, and he says, "Hey, wait, the other guy stole twice as much. What are you mad at me for?"
Exactly right.
What a jackass. I mean, seriously, I can't believe they say these things in public. You know what's amazing to me is not just asking for the increased taxes, but they're so bad at asking. They don't give you a good pitch. It's not a good sales pitch. It's not a good con man pitch. That's what's weird about this. It's like, well, if you don't pay taxes, then you're just selfish and mean and nasty, and you don't care about people, and you don't care about our, it's all this negative BS. It's like, well, when we raised taxes before, it was more than this, okay? So what are you complaining about? Don't they have anybody who tries to seduce you? I mean, just basic sales is you got to give a good impression, make the other person that you're selling to feel good about it as well. Make them feel like it's their idea to want to buy the product or buy your tax scheme. Honest to God, they're terrible. They make you mad.
And then there was a knee slapper after the Irvine news conference. Apparently, Brown spokeshole Evan Westrup, I don't know that name yet, but I guess it'll move to the top of the list, said, we've got to close the news conference because the governor has to get down to San Diego. And you know what? We don't have high-speed rail. We just got to get on that freeway, and that's going to be tough, so we got to go. It's a good one, isn't it?
He really said that?
Yeah, he did. The quote is, because of traffic and we don't have high-speed rail, we got to go to San Diego now. It's like,
because we don't have high-speed rail, the governor is going to be stuck in traffic.
yeah, going from Irvine to San Diego.
What a load.
That's what we get. So,
what an idiot.
What a pitch that is.
See, that's the thing. The high-speed rail will never relieve traffic, but they're going to keep selling it as that. All their sales pitches are BS. They're not good sales pitches. I don't know what would be a good sales pitch, but you can't say, oh, look, the governor's going to be stuck in traffic. I don't care. Besides, San Diego's not going to be built for 50 years, the stretch to go down there.
50 now? I thought it was 30. Was not 50?
Huh? Well, I think realistically it would be 50.
So what's your take now on why Jerry Brown is really pushing the high-speed rail project against all logic and all detail and nuance?
Here's the thing, and you learn this after watching the political scene for a few years. I mean, I came to realize this over time. You end up, and this goes on all the time, you turn on TV, you read columns, radio, whatever, and people are always arguing the facts of the case. Why, this is a short-sighted policy. This is not really smart. How could they not notice this? How could they do that? This doesn't add up. And it occurred to me one day, everyone debates these matters and are very literal about it. They look at the obvious points and say, how could this be? Well, I don't think these guys are that stupid. I think they know that this doesn't add up, this doesn't make sense. I don't think they care. What they have is potentially $12 billion to spend. $9 billion that we can borrow, $3 billion from the federal government. $12 billion for politicians and bureaucrats, that's a lot of money. And who's going to get the money?
Unions.
Union workers are going to get the money.
They're old political hack friends on these boards and these other study groups.
Sure.
Consultants.
That's right. You have a management structure. You have, the board, the commissioners. You've got consultants. You have architects. You have engineers. You have the lawyers, the developers, the people who have to buy the land and get
all
the rights
their friends
away.
And family members.
And all these people they know. All these people contribute to campaigns. Well, hey, they're sitting around. It's like, look, this thing is going to be, if it ever gets built, it's long after Jerry Brown is dead, okay? And maybe he would get credit in history books 100 years from now, but nobody else will. Nobody's going to remember Darrell Steinberg's name or John Perez. I mean, nobody even knows these guys now, let alone. So what it is like, hey, we got a pot of money. We scammed the voters. We defrauded the voters. And so we got $9 billion to borrow and spend. We got another $3 billion that we weaseled out of the federal government. This is money for all of us. We can all live off this for the next 10, 20 years.
Yeah, it's like I can see the cartoon. Jerry Brown's nude doing his push-ups. He's got the cigar going. This will be great, guys. Even if this thing's a boondoggle, they won't know that till long after I'm dead. Let's just take this money now and spend it on our friends.
10 years from now, Jerry Brown is dead or in the home. Perez, Steinberg, and the rest of them are all out of office. They've all become lobbyists. Or maybe they get jobs feeding at the high-speed rail trough. But that's what the game is about. That's why they're going to build Bakersfield to Chowchilla, and it's not even going to be electrified for high-speed rail, and there's going to be no train stations. There's not even going to be a train. It's just a $12 billion pile of money that they can all share in. Money, more than anything, motivates people. There's very few people who are motivated by things other than money. Even if you have a passion for a certain...
What
about love? Love fades. Money lasts forever.
Oh, no. The philosophy book is open.
No. What I'm saying is, money is what drives people.
Hope his wife didn't hear that.
I know.
It's a joke. Money is what drives people. That's what makes people get up in the morning and do stuff so they can make money. All right? So these guys want to get up in the morning and make money for the next 10 to 20 years. That's what they want to do. It's not about thinking bold. Only stupid newspaper columnists fall for that. There's nothing bold about proposing something that's idiotic. It's just idiotic. It's not. Wait, is it bold to stand on the roof of your house and take a dive into your cement patio? Yeah, that's bold. It's also really stupid. Well, this high-speed rail is the equivalent of jumping off your roof and diving into your cement patio.
Yeah, but on the way down, you're throwing money in the air to your friends.
Exactly. I mean, that's all it is. So rather than like debate,
and we're actually the taxpayers heading down to this event.
That's right. So you look at it like that. Now it makes perfect sense. If you look at it, it's like, well, if they build it, no one's going to use it. We're never going to make money. It's going to cost a lot in taxes. Blah blah. That's obvious. That's obvious to everybody with a pulse. So it's got to be something else. And I think the something else is, they don't really care what California is going to be like in the year 2060, whether we're all connected with high-speed rail. It doesn't matter to all these guys. All these guys are going to be dead. What matters now is they got $12 billion to spend on themselves and their friends.
All right, we got to take a break. Don't forget, 605 Moist Line, Part 1. We'll see what's in the calls from the last week on the John and Ken listener line.